Welcome to the happy hour, everybody, right here, Sirius XM Fly HB. I've been talking about this all last week and last night, of course. He is finally here. He promised me he would come through. He held up to his word. My dude, my man right here, who knows his hip-hop. Let's not get it twisted. Mike Epps, welcome him to the happy hour. Thank you for doing this.
Baby girl,
I
baby
know.
girl.
You wrote a book. I'm going to get to the book.
I wrote a damn book.
The Unsuccessful Thug. I'm going to get to the book. But first, I want to put the happy hour crew and the Fly family onto your hip-hop, because the first thing you said to me when you saw me was, yo, I saw you on this 90s website where they was playing your music. Yeah. You just got a love and affinity for hip-hop like we all do.
No doubt, no doubt, and especially our era.
Yeah.
You know, our era was, man, I mean, I'm glad that I had a chance to live in our era.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was the last of the real...
You know what? It's bad when you say that because people start to think you hating. But
I ain't hating. I'm just going off the facts. I'm just going off of what's in front of me.
Yeah. Who in that era, who would you say, like, let's say from like 90 to like 96, who would you say when it was the Canes, the KRS-Ones, the EPMDs, who would you say you, because you from Indianapolis.
They was
late 80s, but
80s.
Going into the 90s too, because you figure
88,
80, you still got to count that in because some bomb albums was coming out.
Oh, man.
They was coming out around that time.
They was coming out.
Who would you say was playing heavy in Indianapolis?
Man, we was listening to everything. I had a cousin from DC, and he used to get them mixes. I don't know how. I guess he was coming to New York getting them mixes. That's how I first heard about Ralph McDaniels.
Really?
In Indianapolis. My cousin kept telling me, man, it's a dude. It was they got a thing up there called Video Music Box, and man, I'm telling you, I mean, I love hip hop. I mean, I could tell you so much about hip hop. It's crazy.
You ever been in the studios with anybody, like any of the artists while they were recording? I would love to hear a story that you never told before about being in the studio when somebody
I've been
recorded.
In the studio with Cube before. I watched Cube make Laugh Now, Cry Later.
Really?
One of his albums. And boy, to watch Cube standing there and really spit was crazy.
Wow, I never knew that. You don't really talk about that a lot.
Spit it, turn it up, turn it up. And you know what's crazy about watching you guys, the rap artists rap, is that how it sounds on the record, you guys are not that way when they recording.
What do you mean? What did you see that was so different?
Like, it's like people don't see, run that back, run that back, stop that, turn it up. No, that ain't right. And I'm like, dude, that sounded good. What is it? Like, that's music. That'll show you right there that people know music and people don't know music. Because when you think something sound good, people that really know music will be telling you that shit don't sound good.
I never heard you tell that story before about being in the studio with artists. Thank you for sharing that with me first time here in the happy hour.
In the happy hour. We on the happy hour right now.
No, I appreciate that. Did you get the bug while you was in the studio wanting to jump on the mic and do something?
I did. And you know what? I really, really, really love hip hop so much that I tried to make me a couple songs. I ain't gonna lie. I tried to make a couple songs. I made a big girl song, and I made a whole bunch of little goofy ass songs. And I was like, you know what? Once that shit, I got it on record and I started listening to it, because that's one thing about rap. It sound good to you, but other people be like, that's some bullshit. Why does it sound so good to you?
I'm going to tell you why. Up next, Mike Epps is here hanging out with us. He is crazy. His book is out too. Unsuccessful Thug. We'll talk more with him up next on this Talk About Tuesday. It's the happy hour right here at Sirius XM Fly. I'm HB, hanging out with Mike Epps, and he's telling us stories he ain't never even told before. So Mike Epps, former rapper, all right, because he was in the studio with Ice Cube, recorded a song, a big girl song, that after you played it for your people, they wasn't checking for you, Mike. What happened?
Well, you know what? A lot of people was like, man, just stick to comedy, man. Don't even fucking do it. Leave it alone. And I ended up doing a little comedy album called Funny Business. I had Snoop on a song. I had DJ Quick. I had Flow Rider. I had a lot of people on the album. And it was just a fun album. It was just, because everybody got to make them a rap album.
Yep, everybody.
They do them. Basketball players.
Yeah, it's what you said, because we grew up with that infinity for it. We can remember the first time we heard hip hop. And we just remember that sound, and you could just like, yo, bust it. You remember that.
What female made you want to like?
MC Light.
Light, huh?
MC Light, Mike, because to your point, going back, you said, what is it about artists when you get in the studio, how Cube was going? Let me play that back. No, let me do it again. It's because once you find your voice, you know what you're supposed to sound like. And I think, to me, when Light came out, she had such a unique voice. It was something like I had never.
You do too, though. Don't nobody sound like you. You got your own shit.
Thank you. She had a voice that I had never heard before. And it was just that Brooklyn accent. I'm from Jersey, but she had this Brooklyn accent, and she was her own person. Taking nothing away from Queen Latifah. We all love Queen, and she Jersey as well. Salt and Pepper was out, but they were a duo. And then Light, back at the time, she took on Antoinette. That was just this female battle that was going on.
Antoinette?
She was a rapper. She was a female artist. Her name was Antoinette. That's where the whole line. You know how Little Kim goes, "Hot damn hoe, here we go again."
Yeah.
Like, okay, so she got that from MC Light. So when MC Light battled Antoinette, that's the first thing.
She
MC
said that
Light,
to her.
"Hot damn hoe, here we go again." Come on, Mike. You know I know my history,
crazy,
baby.
Right?
So Light to me was just.
Did you like Boss?
I loved Boss, but she was from the West Coast.
She was. I think she was from Michigan.
From Michigan. I'm from Michigan, but I'm sorry. The way she dressed, she kind of came off
West Coast.
For West Coast. So we didn't know much about her, but that record she had, I don't wanna feel. It was dope.
That was
but I didn't hear much from her afterwards.
Yeah.
You were familiar with her?
What about that other Roxanne?
Didn't know much about her.
Well, it was another Roxanne.
It was Roxanne,
Shantae, and
then
the real Roxanne.
Then it was the real Roxanne.
Which one was the real Roxanne?
The real Roxanne was Roxanne from Shantae, in my opinion, because she was part of the Juice Crew. She was part of bringing Biz Markie to the era.
Just that Puerto Rican, the fine Puerto Rican.
Fine Puerto Rican.
She had a jam. She had a cut though.
She did, taking nothing away from her. Rox, and she might have, because I think she was down with like UTFO or what's the guys that was in those movies? Because they did Full Force.
She was
she was with a lot of them. So taking nothing away from her in the years, because she could have been first. But for us, it was Roxanne, Shantae, and Queensbridge, and being down with the Juice Crew and being responsible for Biz Markie's career and all that other kind of stuff. Right. We kind of take our hat off to Roxanne, Shantae.
Yeah, I love to be a female rapper is just ultimate. You know what I mean? Because it's so many things that a woman can do, but that's one that's hard, that they don't come around. They don't. I mean, to even say that you was one is no joke.
That's crazy that you would say that, because it's the one thing that I realized that people, it's sort of like female comedians in a way to me.
It is.
You remember them.
You do.
You remember female rappers the same way you remember female comedians.
Because if I ask somebody all over the world, do they remember you? They know. They like, come on.
That's crazy.
They knew all the girls. They knew all, because it really wasn't a lot of y'all. At the time.
In the 90s, in the 80s, it wasn't a lot. In the 90s, we were flooded. It was Bahamadia. It was Rod Digger.
Rod Digger was out.
Rod Digger came out during the 90s.
Not in the early 90s.
Not early, but say my first album didn't come out till 96.
It did.
Yeah. My first album came out in 96. So during that time, it was Little Kim, it was Foxy, it was the Lady of Rage. Yell them out, y'all. It was the Lady of Rage. It was so many female rappers. It was thick.
It flooded.
It was the game was flooded.
What you think about the young ones now? What you think about these young ones now?
I want to see them win. I'm just a fan and an advocate. Yeah. Like I love Trina. I'm happy for Nicki.
But
I'm happy
do the
for
new
Remy.
ones? Can the new ones rap? You think, or
it's a different time,
flow, huh?
And it's a different time. Like it's just different.
Because they rap to me, like back in the day, y'all had y'all own flow, but like the girls now, they kind of follow the guys. They kind of sound like the Migos and shit too to me.
Well, they all come up under. It's kind of, you know how sort of Biggie ushered Kim in. and like Jay sort of ushered Foxy in.
So it's about
it's
whoever
kind of
brought
like
you.
kind of ushered in. Remy, even though she was a battle rapper up in the Bronx, she still came in under Fat Joe,
She did.
so to speak. Sort of
She
like
did.
how Yo-Yo came in under Ice Cube,
Yeah,
but she didn't
yeah.
sound like Ice Cube. So I think a lot of it has a lot to do with who ushers
That's right.
you in.
That's right.
Just,
That's right.
Thinking.
Come on.
Mike Epps is here hanging out with us. We're going to talk about this book. We on our rap thing right now. You know what? Let's play some Yo-Yo. I
Let's
love
play some
Yo-Yo, right? Shout out to Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo.
It's the happy hour. We be back right here, Sirius XM Fly. Talking hip hop, so we
Major
got to talk
T.
about the book. So, Unsuccessful Thug. I love the fact that you had shared when you was on Sway Show with us that you got your high school diploma.
Yeah, I graduated from high school about 2 years ago.
But ain't nothing wrong with that though, Mike. Like, I think a lot of men in particular, because you hear more men talk about not finishing high school than women.
They do.
I think more men need to say that, because you're a successful man who didn't have to go back to school 2 years ago, to get that. What was the driving thing that said, yo, I'm going to go back and get this high school diploma?
Well, I said, damn, man, I accomplished all of this. But when you accomplish anything, you always looking for the void. You like, okay, what else? What other spot can I fill? And I was like, damn, that's a real spot I need to fill. I ain't got no damn high school diploma.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my high school diploma, and I feel like I filled the void a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, just to say that I had it.
Yeah, no, that's
for
real.
myself.
For yourself. Was it hard?
No, they just gave it to me.
No, Mike, you had to study. You took the test, right? Or was just
They ain't take shit. Don't tell nobody I said it.
Mike in here telling secrets, y'all. I told y'all. He in here telling. Wow, that they just gave it to you, Mike.
No. I had to study for it a little bit, but they did help me out on the test.
They helped you.
Yeah, but the fact that I went for it, and I was always encouraging kids at my high school, they had to give me a little something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was just love,
Yeah. Anything you regret, like, I just think it's funny, like, we would never know that about you. Like, you done stood on many stages, held many mics, done your thing and been successful, television and movies, that in the back of your mind this entire time you was like, damn, I want to go back and finish and get my high school diploma. Anything else that you kind of want to do on your bucket list that you haven't shared yet?
Yeah, I want to get my kids out of my pocket. That's one of the good big scratch off right there. Shit. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I got a couple things on my bucket list I like to do. I really would like to start a foundation helping kids. I've done it, but it was for other people's foundations. But I want to do my own foundation for at-risk kids, because. Excuse me, I can relate to them, and I know what bothers them. I know what's going on with them. I know that they keep stuff inside of themselves and don't talk to people. A lot of these kids don't talk to nobody. They walk around, and that's why a lot of this stuff is going on, because people don't talk to these kids. You got to talk to them. You got to ask them, are they okay, and how you feel, because you don't know what's going on in their mind.
Do you think it's a fear? Like, kids are just scared to open up, just feeling like you're going to violate,
you
know what I mean, my trust. If I tell you this is going on in my house or this has happened, fear.
That's it. That's it, B. They just them kids is like, man, they think everybody's an authority figure over them. And believe it or not, they all collect everything you say and don't use it until some shit happen. And then everything you said to them come back to them. But you be laying in Rikers Island, be thinking about what the hell somebody told you.
You right about that. Mike Epps is here, hanging out in a happy hour. We got more up next. Don't leave us. Hanging out with my buddy,
Major
my dude,
B.
Mike Epps. Man, you know what? We were talking about music. How did you find your voice in comedy? Like, when did you know that you had, like, hit that mark and you arrived, like, I ain't just hood funny.
Yeah.
Like, I got it.
You know what? I started, it took a long time, but I started doing, like, I would go do comedy clubs, and white people would show up. I'm like, damn, white, and they were dying laughing. I'm like, okay, shit, they getting it now.
Yeah.
Shit, my mother always told me, if you get some white customers, you doing good. That means you making a little money.
On the side, so the white people.
When white people start showing up, you gonna get a little extra money coming in. So once I seen that, I was like, shit, I think I'm on to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How competitive? Because we don't know. We just come out. When we see Mike Epps at the Garden, Mike Epps at the Mike Epps Netflix special, whatever. We don't know how competitive it is. But how competitive is comedy? Yeah.
Woo. Comedy is competitive, and you talk about the hip hop game. We know the hip hop game is competitive, but people don't know how competitive comedy is, because I mean, comedians go at it. We battle. I done beef with a lot of them. You know what I mean? And it ain't never the hip hop beef where it go into gunplay or hurting each other, but you know, that competition is real.
Any beefs you regret? Any so far?
All of them.
All of them.
You know, because at the end of the day, we all trying to get something for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Love you, Mike. I know you gotta go.
Love you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all keep supporting this girl, Major B. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. And he called me Major B. That's what I love. Yeah.